Yep. All right. So the hello and welcome everybody. I'm Dr. Kevin. We are live. We got everyone here. Let's check in with everybody. We are Synergy Solutions, and I'm getting my screen organized still. And I want to welcome all the doctors that have tuned in today. Dr. Ian, Dr. Vesna, Dr. George, thank you. We have our rolling team of physicians that, holistic chiropractic physicians that work with a specific technique. And I'm going to show a little bit about that today, actually. And give everybody a little bit of foundation of what this concept is, where it came from, how it works. And the most important thing to show everybody, and I'll get the doctors to take a look at this in a second here. All right, there's that view. And, oh my goodness, excuse me. Right there, good. Now everyone can see what's going on. This is the main work, Dr. William Tiller. The science community is really deep. This guy has all the right connections that goes way back, and he is leading the charge in many ways about this understanding of the different fields that are in and around the human body. And this is where all the fun stuff in life comes from, like the synchronicities, you think about something and it shows up in your life, the happenstances that launch you to new levels. And so when it comes to the human body and the human mind, they're all intertwined. That kind of rhymed. I appreciated that. And so this slide right here is so critical. It gives a nice snapshot between all the levels of reality that we're measuring. And I'm personally not measuring some of them. Some of them I am. However, connecting and watching some of this, what's going on. So information, intention, subtle energy, electromagnetic fields, chemistry, structure, function. I had a patient the other day, yesterday, come in, and over the weekend they had horrible vertigo. Never had it before, and their wife is a healer and very knows a lot what to do in those type of situations. And after doing some work, a lot of it got better and better. But she had this special magnet and held it right next to his ear, and the symptoms really calmed down at that point. So something with the electromagnetics of life and his body were not connecting, were not aligned, and that magnet really helped stabilize him. I talk about energy, frequency, vibration in the office quite a bit, and how it relates to the human body. So that being said, I want to welcome everybody. I'm going to show another image to the audience out there, the acupuncture system. The doctors, are you guys familiar with the acupuncture system? Seeing the map?
Sure.
Flows on the skin. Take a quick look there for you. And then, I know you do, and Dr. George has got his model there. Let's go back and forth to that. There he is. And so one of the things that happens is there's this whole flow between the physical body and the surface of the skin and different systems of communication, the electricity, so to speak. So here in, oh my goodness, here in Synergy Solutions, we are working at the next level where we can affect you from where you are at home to where we are here. We're going to work with everybody together. And so, Doctor, I'm going to ask doctors real quick, tell me about any experiences you just noticed. And we talk about this in the seminars, but you find these points on the body that seemingly are unrelated. But then when you look at, this is my experience, I go then look at the acupuncture map, and it directly correlates in so many ways. Any thoughts, any comments, experiences, shares?
Sometimes I find that to be true. I don't look for it often. My first three questions when I'm asking what the priority is it a bone, a zone, or an organ? And a zone is a coordinate on the body someplace. So they
Right,
may be
right.
points. And I'm
So,
told there are 72,000 points. So likely I'm going to hit something.
well, yeah,
72,000.
so yeah, absolutely. And what I've recognized is when I get away from the map of the system, it just flows with the session. And what I want, well, I guess what the idea I want to relate is that we are this we have these multiple depths and dimensions of what it is to be human. And it's this matrix. I wanted, I was going to show, and I'm going to show it right now. Are you familiar with Alex Gray and his artwork? Have you seen those images?
Yeah.
I'll show the audience here too, right there. And it just depicts all these layers of the energy field that is invisible to the naked eye, but people can feel it with their hands. And there's feedback happening regardless of space and time, it seems to be. So Dr. George, thank you for the comment on how you find the coordinates, because that's really the conversation I wanted to have without, maybe I was afraid to say it. So this is the interesting. It almost seems like magic. However, this is all backed up by the latest and greatest science that's coming out. Well, not just now, but it's been like 30 years of ongoing information and research that proves and satisfies the scientific method. It's quite interesting stuff. So that being said, let's move forward. We're going to talk about intention, because intention is a huge part of the work that we do. And then what makes this program different is that we have a way to check in with where to go, in what order, in what way to deliver the results that the intention is set for you as an individual, wherever you are in the world. And we're all connecting as one energy body, and that's called the surrogate. So here, each of the doctors has a surrogate that they work on, and that is the placeholder for whatever you need to help align yourself with your personal intentions and the things that we talk about here. And it's an interesting world these days. Energies are up and down, it seems like. And part of me wants to show a lot of images, a lot of clips, a lot of resources. We talk about the Suspicious Observer channel. I showed astrology things before, basically the electromagnetic patterns of the stars and how they affect, and the planets, of course, and our star, the sun, and how it affects the Earth and the human body. And there's lots of evidence to put out there, and even higher, research from Stanford, research from Harvard, things of this nature, Princeton, all these wonderful things that are demonstrating these electromagnetic components of what it is to be human. There's even technology out. I just got some in my office that measures frequencies and helps it balance. So what I'm hoping to relate is the people, everyone out there is tuning into this. There's openness to receive a shift that we can facilitate providing. And that's really why I do this, because this is principle I live by. And it's kind of stated throughout a lot of the other things I do online. But we rise by raising others. And so through this intention that I hold, this is one of the things I love in life, is this KST community that we have here, and all the fun conversations. I feel like a cosmonaut, or not a cosmonaut, but of the mind. So I don't know what that would be, but anyway, with that being said, there's a lot of things happening in the world today, and the work that we do here is around intention. So I'd like to ask each of the doctors to comment on something that they feel as intention we would benefit from. What would be wise from that perspective. And Dr. Vesna, I'll ask you to get started with that. And what comes to mind for you?
My intention is to be open and clear and connected, and to deliver what needs to be delivered to the group.
Very good. So if I could restate that in some ways, that is the being the clear channel, the hollow reed, so that you can deliver the purity of what's ever needed.
Said nicely.
Well, thank you. I like to recap it for myself. Number one, I did a good job listening. Number two, I wanted to say it in different ways. So some people learn with some words, some people learn with other words, and to reinforce it. And I just really appreciate that input. Thank you, Vesna. Dr. Ian, what comes to mind for you today?
Intention's very important, isn't it? It's about your your beliefs, your vision for your life, or your vision for others, and where you're taking it or where it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
So it's extremely important. And yeah, my intention is just help others and
right on, helping others. And so, Dr. Vesna, Dr. Ian, I'll call on you for a second. With what would you share? What would you share? And Dr. Ian, I'll go with you first. What would you share that the result of this work can be for people? A potential, so to speak.
Potential help from this work. Yeah. I haven't really thought about it. I hope they're getting something out of it. I mean, I think that's more a question for you. Spiritual clarity.
Spiritual clarity, right on. Well, think about any form of how do I say this? Yeah, you ever see somebody with that's having a bad day with a bad attitude, and you can tell before they even say a word.
Yeah.
Right. The body language component.
Yeah.
Now, consider how you felt before and after each of the times you've joined us here. Do you think that I don't know, number one, I'm putting you right on the spot, so everyone, this is really live. This is real live. Tell what has been a shift in what you've noticed on how you feel on the inside.
Honestly, for me personally, I mean, I came in here and it's like, my intention is to help others, but I received a lot out of it too. Yeah, it's subtle, but I don't want to say I'm stealing, but I've received a lot too, and it feels great.
Well, in fact, you're not stealing. So that's a beautiful point.
I just hope I'm putting out there to help too, because that's my intention. Yeah.
Well, and I'll ask Vesna to comment on this. Every time someone is added or new into the group, what has been your experience, Vesna?
Very different. It adds something. It's like adds another spice for the meal. It enriches it in a way. We all add a bit of ourselves into it.
So that is my attempt, Ian, to let you know that we felt a complete, I don't say a complete different, but a different flavor to the recipe. And I look, the way this operates, just like Dr. George, just like Dr. George has people that help him flow in and out of his office. A little joke there, but a little inside humor.
Yeah.
But there's something to this nature of who's showing up, when they're showing up, and the work that is happening with the people that are here. And I am in awe at the perfection of it. And it's very delightful for me. And we get to facilitate helping others. So I look at it as the big relief when I'm done my sessions here. I feel a shift. I feel calmer. I know my tones change, and that makes the rest of the day flow in different ways. Versus when I wasn't gotten an adjustment, an attunement, whatever that may be. So we are live, and if you're getting some value out of this, you're having fun with our conversation, make a comment. I'll see that, and it'll be enjoyable for me to give you some feedback. I'll drop a link to connect to the group and the program where I share some of the inside knowledge of how the body and the mind work, and the systems and images to, you know, bring awareness to how your own body works. There's a program I have. It's called Becoming Your Own Healer. And essentially, this is when we gain knowledge about how our system works and how we integrate and work with life, you really have more personal power. And it has turned a lot of confidence into my life, because this is a skill set that I've developed and into a very, well, I'll pat myself on the back, but to a very high level, sometimes maybe extreme. However, now it's just something I love to do and passionate and study on, and all the factors that interconnect and interrelate. So, Dr. Ian and Dr. Vesna, thank you for your comments there. Dr. George, you've been listening. Thank you.
Thank you.
What's been coming to mind with what you've been hearing?
Well, the intention that popped into my head for today, a couple of basics. One is that the natural order of life is that living things grow and expand in the face of stress. And certainly there's been a lot of stress in the world these days. So I think my intention today is to help people rise up, to rise up because of the stress, and because it's food when you digest it. And the adjustments that we provide is a way to feed the stuck stress back to your brain so it can have another chance at processing it. So
right,
that's our job.
So it's about processing what comes at you. And so when it can be processed, you can move forward in greater resiliency. You can move forward with certainty. And that is my intention for everyone today. There is a path. There's two paths available. And I gain this from all kinds of things I look at and study about where we are in reality and what's happening. And there's a path that, if we could keep it simple, is one that is kind of hiding, head in the sand. And there's a pattern of rising to your greatest potential, all available right now. And so wherever that is, in whatever area of life, and we can get into the whole personal coach side of things, there's different ways of dissecting the way life operates, from personal to family to your recreation to your career to finances, and all these different ways. And we each have desires. If we sat and thought about it, we each have desires and goals and targets in each of those areas. And there's a thread that's available to act towards something that you can reach to new levels. There's like a time for that right now. And I think personally, a lot of the chaos that's happening is the distraction to suck your energy to from your true personal mission here on Earth. So that being said, thank you everybody for tuning in. We're going to be going to the members area now. We're going to talk a little bit more about intention. And with that being said, thanks for tuning in for the conversation. If you do have a question, mention it in the comment. I'll get to it. And otherwise, we want to go to synergysolutionsessions.com. That's where you can get access to everything that we're doing on the inside and join in on the fun. All right. Anything else before we go, doctors, to the next segment?
Well, you mentioned about what we get out of these sessions. And I would say every time is different. And I imagine it depends on what state I'm in. Sometimes I go into a phase of deep peace, or sometimes I feel high and kind of active, energized. I would move. So as opposed to stillness, very enriching every time.
Well, there's a different need at different days for different times and different things, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for that. That's such a beautiful statement, and quite the balancing energy today, Vesna. Thank you. All right, everybody. Thank you, and I'll see you in the Synergy Solution Session area. Blessings and best regards.
Audio, videos.
Oh, I mean, that's okay. You can't help that